that's why I call what I do pragmatic psychology, because it's basically, instead of trying to go the hard way and doing, working hard, and things have to take a long time, you just ask a question and you receive the answer, and trusting that you know what you know. And so this knowing is, so you ask for a tool. So one of the tools you can use to start untwisting yourself from the thinking, feeling, and emoting to this being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving is this crazy phrase that I mentioned before. It's everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing is the opposite of what it appears to be. So if you say that 10 times after, 10 times in a row, for example, or even 20 times, you will start, and then you try to think. You won't be able to think anymore, because you just untwisted yourself out of the insanity that that you use by thinking, thinking a whole day, thinking all the time, and you start accessing that space of being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving. And that is a totally different way of going about living. And this is basically how people with ADHD, ADD, autism, and OCD function as their natural way of being, and especially autistic people. Like, autistic people are extremely aware of what's going on around them, and they have like this natural being, knowing, perceiving, and receiving. That's their natural way of being. But in this reality, this is considered a wrongness, because you're supposed to feel, you're supposed to think, you're supposed to emote, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And so it's basically when you are in nature, for example, or you're on your holiday, and you access that space, that relaxed state of being, and all of that, and then you're going back to your, whatever, where you live, and you go back to your work. We all know how that feels, right? It's like this, ouch, this, oh my God, what's going on, And so it's basically where you go from that space, and then you twist yourself, you shove yourself into that box. That's not you, but you think you're supposed to function that way because everybody else does that too. So it's really uncomfortable, and it's very contractive, and this is basically how autistic and Asperger people are experiencing the way this reality works, because they don't have, the polarity of thinking and feeling as much as people who don't have those diagnoses, but then they have to take themselves from that space of being, shove themselves into the box of thinking, feeling, and emoting, and it really creates an extreme contraction, and it creates those tantrums and all of the things where people say, oh my God, I don't know what to do with that person or my kid. So I have an example. So I was working with a woman who has a son who is autistic, and he was throwing like lots and lots of tantrums, and he would never get ready for school in the morning, and she tried all kinds of techniques and strategy, and nothing would work. And so I asked her, so would you like to try a different approach? And she said, yes, of course, because I've tried everything and nothing would work. So I gave her the tip of, do this, show your, first relax into your body, because, as a parent, when your kids don't get ready for school, usually you're going into this, you're contracting yourself, and you're going into the drama, and that's just, creates a drama in the whole situation. The whole thing just gets worse. So the first thing I ask you next time, just relax into your body. Be aware of your body and just relax, and then expand out energetically. Just so occupy a space that's, at least as big as the whole room. So, and for the people who are listening to this who are like, what is she talking about? So just do it right now. Just be aware of your body right now. Relax into your body, and not just your brain. Just be aware where you sit or where you lie right now. Push down all your barriers, everything you're having around you. And now you can close your eyes if you would like. You can have them open, but usually it's easier if you close your eyes. And now occupy space, like make yourself really big energetically, like expand out and make yourself as big as the whole room you're in. Thank you. And now even bigger. So you're occupying a room, a space that's like at least as big as your house, your room, and now even beyond your room and your house. And just allow yourself to occupy a space as big as possible while you at the same time are totally aware of your body. And now notice how much more present you are. So when you do that and you start being that even more, so in a situation where, a kid throws a tantrum, you can be just way more relaxed about it. And then I asked her, so what if you actually gave your kid the download of what's going to happen on that day? So just show your kid, okay, so now you're going to get dressed, then we're going to go to school, and then we're going to, whatever the day is going to look like, eat lunch, and then I'm going to pick you up from school, and then this and this and that. And give the kid the download of that like a big movie, not with words, but just have it in your head. And give the kid that movie, that download, like a movie show in your head. And she said, I don't know how to do that. And I just said, just do it, And she actually did, and she said, this is amazing. It just worked like a charm because he totally got what the mom was talking about. Without using words, he just picked up the mom's, the picture that she was handing them. And that is the capacity that autistic and Asperger people have, because they don't only talk with words, they actually are way faster than talking with words. So they're not using like only verbal and nonverbal communication, like with your body and with words, but they also use a communication that's beyond that. And that is a capacity we all have, but we haven't acknowledged. So for example, if you go into a room where there has been a fight or something, how much do you know that, oh, something feels fishy here, something, something has been going on, even if you didn't have the information, you didn't, nobody told you that there's just been a fight going on or something else, but somehow you know. So we all have that capacity of picking up information that's not only verbal or nonverbal, so with words and with your body, but something that's beyond that. And this is considered like like this is supposed to be weird because you cannot measure it. And by the way, you can measure it right now. So there are actually studies going on, and like there are like studies of how you can measure that, and that's actually a reality that we're not only beings that are thinking and feeling. And I'm sorry, noise going on outside because I'm in a crazy city called Rome. So it's really where you start to acknowledge that there's so much more capacities than just talking about something or using your verbal or your nonverbal language, but where you can pick up information that's beyond that, and where you can communicate in a totally different way. And this is something that especially people with ADHD, OCD, and autism can open up and can inspire us to, if we are willing to have that, because we all do have that, but these people have it in a way, in a capacity that's just way more than people who don't have those diagnoses. So that is one. Let's hop, because I know I just hopped over the slides in an order that's not supposed to be the order we're in, but that's just the way I function. I'm not a very structured person.